Well, good evening, everyone. This is Dr. Ella Thorpe with Tustin Longevity Center, Talk to the Doctor. We are a integrative functional medicine group of 7 practitioners, and we are looking to have a interaction with you on the YouTube chat. So along here, if you're on YouTube, you can type in a general question, and in the bottom here, there is a link where you can type in some questions that you might have, general questions about healthcare. This is not meant to be personal medical management. This is general. So I won't be advising anyone in particular. If you happen to be a patient of ours, we would ask you to call our office at 714-544-1521 and schedule a visit or telehealth, or to leave a question, and then we can formally get to your chart and address. But general questions, how we would approach functional medicine with standard of care, as we're all trained in standard medical allopathic practice. I'm a medical doctor. We have 3 medical doctors and 2 naturopaths, a physician assistant, and actually 4 medical doctors. So this evening, I will start by looking at these emails from the week, and I'll go from the most earliest date. I think my questions start from November 29th, and then they go all the way up to today, the questions that came in today. And so I have 3 pages, and tomorrow is December 7th, Pearl Harbor. And so just mindful of the men who gave their lives to stand for individual liberty and private property, and our freedom to assemble and worship, and to own private property, and to have free speech. So that's tomorrow. Anyway, so let's begin tonight for our TLC Health Freedom Tribe, talking about the first question, and that comes from Carrie. Carrie asks, I have 2 questions. If you have time for both, a little background. I have rheumatoid arthritis, fibromyalgia, and occipital neuralgia. I also have braces, which I have had a while, and they haven't been tightened in over a month. Thanksgiving, I had terrible jaw pain, so this must have been braces on her teeth. On the lower right-hand side, back of the mouth. I could not open my mouth wide and couldn't eat because it hurt to chew. After a few days, the pain migrated to my ear and up the right side of my face. It doesn't feel the same as occipital neuralgia, nerve pain. My teeth do not hurt and have had recent dental x-rays. The emergency room doctor suggested I have a CAT scan to rule out cellulitis. I declined. The pain has gotten better, but is still there. Could this be jaw pain from rheumatoid arthritis, which I've never had before? Do you suggest going to my doctor or dentist if it persists? Then she said, also, while in the emergency room for 6 hours, they went around the waiting area with a machine that looked like a floor polishing machine and sprayed disinfectant throughout the room. The next day, my husband and I both woke up with a sore throat, post-nasal drip headache, and terrible body aches. Have been using my at-home infrared sauna, drinking lots of water. We are really miserable. Is there anything else we can do? God bless you, and thank you for all you do. Well, that's interesting. So if you have rheumatoid arthritis, I'm presuming you're middle-aged or older, although there is juvenile rheumatoid arthritis. And this is an autoimmune triggered phenomena, and it's not understood why. And it usually involves the minor joints, and your temporomandibular joint is one of the more minor joints. And yes, it's possible to have rheumatoid arthritis involved there. It could be that on Thanksgiving you were eating some food that you are having a leaky gut food immune reaction to, which inflamed you, which made the area more painful to use, thus the non-chewing. And as you've moved away from eating these more infrequently consumed foods, you would get better. Water will help it, of course. Fasting will help it. Going on a clear liquid diet for 2 days, just having chicken broth or beef broth. I found that most of my rheumatoid arthritis patients are O-type blood, and it'd be interesting to know your blood type. And they tend to do very, very well on a carnivore diet for about 3 months. A carnivore diet is very valuable in reducing all food-related allergies. And 80% of your immune system lines the tube. And so a carnivore diet, if you eat grass-fed, wild-caught beef, chicken, fish, pork, and such, these are, not going to be treated with industrial husbandry antibiotics and arsenic and wheat grains and stuff. So what can be done? I think one of the first things I'd do is find out your blood type. I would go on a clear liquid diet and see if just removing all food, just having the broth of chicken or the broth of beef and ginger ale for a little energy, and do that for 2 days and see if everything immediately calms down. We find systemic enzymes are helpful, but we would be talking about something that has like nanokinase, streptokinase, bromelain, papain, things like that. Curcumin, turmeric is very valuable. You could take those during the fast and use on an empty stomach all the time. I do it 5 in the morning, 5 in the evening. And then I would see how you feel after 2 days. Anybody can do this whole thing for any reason, any kind of illness. We all heal. If you'll notice, most of the animal kingdom stops eating when they become injured or sick. So we would then say the enzymes and the lots of water and the carnivore-like food when you start eating. And then you should be able to slowly heal out of this. It takes about 3-4 months to heal the gut and improve the system. So that would be the beginning point. As to what they sprayed, I'm sure that they probably had some alcohol-based antibacterial, antiviral, antifungal liquid in whatever was going around. And that can be aromatized and become an irritant to the mucus linings. And so that should heal up. They have frightened us for the past 50 years from eating meat and eating the skin on the chicken and getting cholesterol and saturated fats in, and egg yolks and the like. And because of that, our cell membranes are all in a weaker state of health. In other words, these membranes on all of our cells are a double layer, and they're composed of fat and protein. And they have busted out areas. You can see right here, a busted out area. That could be from anything, food allergies, heavy metals, and whatnot. And if you're not eating the foods that repair your cell membranes, the healthy fats and proteins that are in these natural wild-caught foods, you're not going to repair as well. So I don't care how many vitamins you take. If your cell membranes are not repaired, you're not going to do well. That's why we see such great healing stories with people who do a carnivore diet for 3 months. But those are some ideas there. Hopefully, that'll be some ideas you can talk about with a functional doctor. A standard medical doctor who got some extra training and put the effort in to learn about functional medicine, integrative medicine, complementary medicine with some experience. And so one of the things they can do is ask your doctor if they do chelation therapy to improve the microcirculation, if they've attended any doctors' conferences like the ACAM, the American Academy for the Advancement of Medicine, that teaches chelation. And there you'll find lots of doctors who have been starting to expand their background in nutrition and nutritional, dietary, functional medicine, using many other modalities instead of the typical drugs, surgery, radiation, and so forth. All right, Denise is the next question, and she says, hello, Dr. Rita. Is butyrate good for someone with IBS? The answer is yes. Butyrate is a short-chain fatty acid that is typically not consumed. It's produced by your healthy bacteria. So you have to have good bacteria and digestive enzymes. Really, the only way I know of getting good butyrate levels, I used to, back in the 1990s, prescribe with a compounding pharmacist a butyrate enema. It was very awkward, and I've stopped doing it since then. And since then, I've learned to help build up the whole gut and repair it that way. But yes, butyrate, a short-chain fatty acid, is produced by healthy bacteria with the sole purpose of helping to heal the lining. And in fact, butyrate, a healthy short-chain fatty acid, is also associated in wrapping your DNA and protecting your DNA from injury. Does it work to produce good gut bacteria? It's the reverse. Gut bacteria produce it. So you have to eat things like inulin, artichokes. This is a prebiotic. So, our bars, we make these Doctor's Nutrition Bar, and they have in it various items that are dietarily sourced, the inulin in our artichokes and things like this in here, so that the healthy bacteria, and we put good bacteria in it, so that the bacteria have something to eat. And so that's what you need are prebiotics and probiotics. Probiotics then make butyrate. And then what else does she ask? All right, and reinforce its lining. Is there something you would recommend other than that? Thank you. So, yeah, I recommend, especially if you're a blood type A, to use orthodigestzyme, which are the digestive enzymes with betaine hydrochloric acid when you eat food. And then I would take a prebiotic and probiotic. We use the item called Doctor's Nutrition Bar. But you can be eating artichokes and what's another good source of inulin? I can't think of it right off the hand, but if you Google prebiotic foods, you'll see a whole list of things that you could eat in the vegetable kingdom. That will help you. All right, Danielle asks, hello, I would appreciate your opinion on 3D mammograms. I am 47-year-old and in good health, and my former OBGYN asked that I get a 3D mammogram every year starting at age 40. My mother has had breast cancer 3 times, but she was tested for the gene and does not have the gene, BRCA gene. I've been reading up on the small amount of radiation produced by 3D mammograms accumulating over time and how it could affect women negatively and could contribute to cancer. I'm wondering what your thoughts are and if there are any healthy alternatives. I get my yearly mammogram. I have heard of thermography and a breast ultrasound as well. Thank you, Danielle. Well, the answer is yes, you have to have some concern, because it's a known fact that it's been published over and over that the trauma to the breast and radiation are both known carcinogens or promoter of cancer changes. So there you are, annually traumatizing, radiating your breasts. So it's a question of the egg and the chicken, or the chicken and the egg, which came first. What we tend to do here is to promote a healthy lifestyle, a healthy body, building up the immune system, rather than following, a protocol once or twice a year through your doctor, doing a scan for the final emergence of a disease, we try and teach our patients to live a style of life that will not promote the development of the disease. For instance, the low carb diet will keep the insulin level hormone lower. And that hormone is a growth promoting hormone. And the American people are vastly consuming carbohydrate, sugars, starches, high fructose corn syrup, and the like. And they drink much of their sugar in the form of smoothies and sodas and the like, lattes and frappes or whatever they're called. So that calls forth for the insulin, and the insulin works very hard to pull sugar and stick it into cells to be used for metabolism, energy. But unfortunately, that insulin doesn't get so easily shut off, and then it can stimulate growth of tumors and the thickening of your blood vessels and heart disease. And eventually you become insulin resistant and you become diabetic, which is a self-associated with a higher incidence of tumors and cancer. So rather than we being so concerned about annual mammograms, although in California that is the standard of care, we are much more hammering each visit on watching your carbs, checking your insulin fasting levels, checking your hemoglobin A1C, checking your fructosamine level, doing a monthly self-breast exam, not eating late at night, getting a good night's sleep, exercising on a regular basis, drinking lots of water, taking enzymes, and using progesterone cyclically to help balance the estradiol a woman makes, because as a woman ages, her progesterone shuts off way, way before the estradiol. Estradiol itself is a general contractor, and it is involved in growth and repair and rebuilding. And so if you have both insulin and estradiol both working in a growth promoting remodeling form, and you're clogging up the capillaries with sticky sugars, you're going to have a problem in the cell getting its oxygen and nutrients, especially if you don't drink a lot of water or exercise and eat late at night. So you see, this is the approach, not trying to look for some way to find early cancers. I like ultrasounds because it does not seem to have any association with the link to promoting cell changes and cancer. I like doing a self-breast exam monthly. I like having a medical doctor who will examine a woman once a year, and in the armpits, that's hard for a woman to do herself, to feel for lymph nodes, and possibly consider doing other things like thermography or Sure Touch, which is more a targeted type of ultrasound wand that's put over the breast in quadrants. There are many other things that you could do. I'm not against doing a mammogram, but I have not seen any major change in the breast health of women in the United States or incidence of breast cancer. And we've been, I've been around when they first promoted mammograms back in the 1970s when I started practicing, getting involved in healthcare. So 3D mammograms, you have to discuss that with your doctor, but certainly work with a doctor who's going to look for prevention. Iodine is another thing that's very much associated with helping to prevent breast cancer and fibrocystic breasts. So there's a book out there called Iodine by David Brownstein. So it's an excellent book for protecting your thyroid function, your mental function, memory, for prostate size for men, for what else? Preventing ovarian and uterine cancer and fibroids in the uterus. So there's all kinds of wonderful things that can be done Rather than thinking the only thing you can do to help yourself is do traumatic pressure squeezed breast mammograms and radiation annually. Hopefully that helps you, Danielle. Patricia says, hello, Dr. E. Will drinking alkaline water cause your body to become too alkaline? Thank you. I've never seen that happen, Patricia. Instead, we are always producing products of respiration in the mitochondria, in the cell engines. We are always burning, oxidizing things. And so you might think of it, I like to describe us as we are, whatever your poundage is. If you're a 150-pound woman, then you are a 150-pound roast cooking at 98.6 degrees all the time. And that's why you have to really realize how important your water is and why we push that you drink half your weight as pounds, as ounces every single day of your life. Now, if you add an alkalinization, and what does that mean to alkalinize the water? Well, there are machines out there like the Kangen machine, which I have, and I had here a lot at the clinic, and we did tests with it. What it does is it uses a electrical plating to take the ions that are in the water and organize them, you might say, in such a way that it'll promote hydrogen ions to be available. And hydrogen is positive, and donating positive hydrogens to unstable free radicals, which usually have electrons that are looking to wreak havoc and rip an electron or a hydrogen atom off of something. So if you're drinking something that has extra hydrogen in it, that would probably be helpful. So yes, I'm in favor of hydrogenated water. Adding minerals to your water, salts, are reasonable too. So I've never seen anyone ever over alkalinize their body. There is a program, there's a book out written by Robert Centenary. And what is the name of it? I'm going to get up and take a look at that for a moment. So the name of the book is, I have the original manual because I helped Robert in the testing of hydrogen water, and I helped him, proofread his work. It's called How Healthier, Better, and Longer. How Healthier, Better, and Longer Discover the Health-Giving Wonders of Hydrogen by Bob Centenary, Settineri, Master of Science. And he's worked on a lot of the things I'm published on. And this H2, extra hydrogenated water, has been well researched in Japan. The premier research has been with Dr. I can't think of his name right now, but this is the product that they're promoting. It's called Izumio water. I have this. I keep it's a 6.7 ounce thing. And when you crack the top of it, you have to drink it right away. So that's why it's only 6.7 ounces. Because if you just let it sit there, the hydrogen gas will come out. So I drink it right away as soon as I crack open the seal. And I know some of you are going to ask how to get it. So I will give you a contact. I have the contact where I get mine. This is at Deb Wellness, DEB Wellness, WELLNESS.NPUSAshop.com. Deb Wellness .npusashop.com. And the phone number is 815-601-2480. That's 815-601-2480. And so she can help you find out how you can get a hold of the water. So I'm always trying to use things that have science behind it, things that I have actually been involved in the research, and now explaining to you that extra hydrogen is a positive, and that will kind of quiet down a negative free radical. And the more negative free radicals you quiet down, the healthier you are. All right, let's go to the next one. Carrie said, I have two questions if you have time for both. A little background. I have rheumatoid arthritis. I guess I already read that one. Okay, so it got copied twice. So good, we already did that one. Then the next page is Denise. Well, same thing. It's about butyrate. I did that one. And the mammogram. And the water. All right, so it looks like I got 3 copied. All right, now the next one would be Nelia. All right, Nelia asks, what tests are really needed to determine optimal treatment for the thyroid? I've heard so much conflicting information, particularly about the need to test for reverse T3 and T4. Follow-up, is treating with T4 alone insufficient? What about T3? And I've now been seeing T2. What is that? Well, there you have the hormone for thyroid that is iodinated, and it's got 4 spots where it can take on the salt of iodine. And you can have one site occupied by iodine, that's T1, 2 of them, that's T2. The functional one recognized by our body for metabolism is T3, free T3, and then when they're all loaded, free T4, all 4 sites. So many of us are iodine deficient. I go back to that book by David Brownstein called Iodine. The title of the book is Iodine by David Brownstein. Excellent, excellent book. So these are one of the minerals, iodine, trace salts, really. It's a halogen, a salt that you have to have. And this is part of your mental acuity, your memory, your energy, your metabolism, and also a part of just your whole well-being in fighting cancer and disease. So read the book, but it makes sense. The diet has been diminished as it gets more processed, and we have less and less iodine. And my goodness, in the recent days, I have had I test for this, I test for urine iodine, and I have seen as little as 1% iodine released into the urine. I've never seen such low iodines on my patients in my life. Everyone is low. I think in decades, because I've been using iodine for decades, maybe 2 people, maybe 1. I can't think of more than maybe 1 person that I know I did an iodine testing on. And this isn't common, and most pathologists and labs really don't know how to do this. So a routine Quest and LabCorp labs are foolishness, really, the way they do the urine iodines. You have to go to a place that's been doing this for decades. And so you can learn about that or come to someone like myself who does a 24-hour urine iodine test. And then you should, if you're sufficient in your iodine salt, and you take some iodine as a salt, potassium iodine, let's say take 50 milligrams. Well, if you don't need it, you should urinate it out nicely so that 90% of that iodine should be released into the urine. I'll tell you, I saw maybe a person with 1% released, 2%. That means they needed the iodine so badly that their body wouldn't let it go. Mostly my average iodines are like 60, 62%, when really they should be releasing 90%. So all of us are iodine deficient. Well, I thank God and my family history that I've learned about functional medicine on top of standard medicine. And I've been on iodine for decades, and that certainly has helped me from losing my mind and my memory as I'm soon to be hitting 70 pretty soon. So, uh, what about all these replacements and what to do? It isn't just about um, acting like an allopathic doctor drugging you. So you have to have a biochemical evaluation with physical exam. You have reflexes that you can have checked. You can have your metabolism, your body content, composition, how much fat. You can have the uh, testing for thyroid antibodies, gut health. Which is linked to an inflamed gut and leaky gut attacking your thyroid, which will lower the function of the thyroid. So, do you really need reverse T3, T4? I have been able to work with all my patients, and I guess they're all happy because they seem to all come back and do quite well. So, I never do reverse T3. I never do reverse T4. I don't even care what your T4 level is because it's not the physiological active item. The only item I care about is your free T3. So if I give you supplemental thyroid, and I like to give it as a whole glandular that will have everything in it, T1, T2, T3, T4, but mostly a typical balance of T3 and T4, mostly T3. Then what we'll find is that your body will use the T3, the functional molecule, and your metabolism, your energy, your cholesterol levels will improve, your memory, your weight loss. Your mood will go up. You'll be more motivated to choose healthy lifestyles and exercise. And of course, water does make a impact and avoiding food allergies. But so it isn't as simple as saying, well, should you use the lab test A, B, or C? You really have to have a doctor that has a strong grounding and understand the interrelationship between all the departments of the body and even the spiritual and the understanding of their patient. How much stress are they under? How much finances do they have to do these testings? Many times I have a patient with less financing ability, and I have to make a clinical best guess to just try and leapfrog over at the lowest expense to try and help them get a management and treatment outcome. So, being a doctor is a master of many things. Um, we need a lot more good general practitioners. May the Lord give them to us. So, I like glandular thyroid, like Armour thyroid, West thyroid, NP thyroid, Nature thyroid, West thyroid, WP thyroid. These are all names of natural whole glandular products. And you could use T4, which is Synthroid or Trilocent, levothyroxine. That's all basically a T4. And then you're depending on your body to have the ability to do the conversion to pluck off one of the iodines and to convert it into the active T3. I don't like wasting that time. I like to give you something that has the T3 in it. So there you go. That's how I like to do it. But if you took levothyroxine, Synthroid, Triacent, and Cytomel or lyothreonine, which is the T3, you could achieve a T4, T3 combination. You can make compounding. But I am not for all these fandangled ways of doing things. There are standard ways to do it, and tiny fractions are just a waste of time. There are very simple ways of doing this, and you don't need all this FOLLID and fiddly-dee testing. All right, next. Jennifer says, hi, Dr. E. What's the difference between Argentin 23 and Silvadene? Dermatologists say to apply Silvadene to a stubborn toe callus. Would Argentin 23 work better? Does soaking the foot help? I'm not sure I know what Silvadene is. I don't have my extra computer here, so I can't look it up right now. I think Silvadene is a zinc oxide, topical zinc oxide like Desitin. I'm not sure, but I would have to look that up to remind myself. I've never heard of Silvadene. Argentin 23 is 23 parts per billion of the nanoparticulate silver. And it is nanoparticulate, which means it is dispersed far more uniformly as a suspension than colloid. Colloids are usually clumpy. Doesn't mean it's not effective as a silver treatment. And usually silver is associated as a general broad spectrum antiviral, antibacterial, and antifungal. In over 40 years of practicing, I can tell you I've seen it work in every situation. So I can tell you that Argentin 23 is very good. Over the counter, you get a half strength called Sovereign Silver. They make it as a gel, a nasal spray, a liquid, I think an eyedropper. I put it in my eyes every night just to moisten my eyes before I go to bed. And, when I see, patients all day long, sneezing, coughing, walking in front of them after they inhale, exhale, I've had millions of people close and up front, and I'm walking in their exhaled airway, particulate matter, and I stay healthy all the time, even as I age. So, and all through these fearful viral times of the past 3 years. So, I use Argentin all the time. I spray it up my nose most nights, especially in the dry winter seasons. I put a drop in my eye all the time at night. And I'll swish and swallow after I brush my teeth very often. I'll do it more often if I feel ill. I'll do it 3-4 times a day. And hopefully that helps explain it a little bit better. Christina says, "Hi, Dr. E. We have been using laundry detergent with no fragrance and no dyes for months now. My 7-year-old will still occasionally get a rash, hives in her armpits only. She showers every few days to not dry out her skin. I spray Argentin Silver on it when she tells me it's there. Would you recommend just spraying the skin when she doesn't have it as a preventive measure? Thank you." I think there's no problem as a preventive measure at all. You can certainly do that. I would have her see a functional doctor who will find out what her blood type is and then find out her digestion. These allergies might be coming from food, and the food will make intermittent hives, and not infrequently it's in our skin that isn't on the exterior surface so much. You can start getting very soft hives in the moist areas of your armpit and your groins, small of your back that isn't traumatized as much. And so I would see a functional doctor, find out her blood type, ask for a complete digestive stool analysis by doctor's data in St. Charles, Illinois, and that's how I would begin with her. The next thing is, Debbie says, "What is the reason to supplement DHEA 25 milligrams? My last lab, July of 22, says a value of 106 for my DHEA. I am also on the estradiol each day and progesterone day 14 through 28 of the month." Thank you, sister. That's apparently my sister asking me a question. All right. So dihydroepiandrosterone is 25 milligrams, and 5 milligrams and 10 milligrams and 50 milligrams and 100 milligrams over the counter is what I've seen. It is a precursor to your adrenal gland cortisol production. It is a precursor to testosterone production in men and women. It is associated with helping your white blood cell count and immune function of your whole, lymphocyte white blood cells. I have often given DHEA and seen the white blood cell count go from like a 2.7, because everyone's chronically running low. When normally, when I was a young doctor, everyone was like a 4.0 to an 8 on their white blood cells. So we have so many toxins in the air and the water and in the food, and glyphosate and GMO and 5G and all these dyes and stress and high sugar suppressing the immune system and lectins in the food and glyphosate. So all these things are harming our immune system. And if you take DHEA, it helps mitigate the stress. It helps build up your muscle through the action of testosterone, and it'll do the same for men. And it will support your adrenal glands rather than having such high cortisol output. It kind of calms it down. So that's what dihydroepiandrosterone is. And where do we get it from naturally? Well, it's a byproduct of the digestion of cholesterol. So if you eat a piece of meat, you eat an egg yolk, you eat the butter, your digestion of that cholesterol molecule in the animal food products or chicken products or fish and so forth, that cholesterol, when you make one of your first digestive snips or two, it breaks down into pregnenolone and DHEA, and these are all precursors of many other wonderful things in the body. So yes, it is a healthy thing to eat your meat, your fish, your chicken. Grandma was right. Tiziana says, hello, Dr. Rita. I recovered well from having the flu last week. My energy is back to normal. However, I have a nagging cough left. The cough is a nuisance when I am with clients or in a workout class, as I sound sicker than I am. I am currently intermittently fasting for 18 hours. I eat a low-carb diet, and daily I take 3 Vascuzyme, 2 grams of vitamin C, 500 international units of vitamin D, 4 capsules of Energy Core, iodine, DHEA, and clinician preference oil. Is there anything else I could take for or do better to help the process of healing this nagging cough? Thank you so much. We have to understand that once you've had a viral illness, yes, you might have overcome the viral attack and the initial armies of viruses being born. But what you don't perceive is that, see my little elf picture of me there? What you don't understand is that damage is left. The damage where all those little viral particles were breaking through the cell membranes. And that very often is much of the reason, or the vast majority of the reason why we have a persisting cough for the next week or so beyond the initial 4 or 5 days of being ill. And we have to give our bodies time to heal and plug this up. If you're eating enough egg yolks and meat and chicken with the skin on it and fish and pork and butter and stuff like that, you'll heal quicker and your cough will go away quicker and you'll heal it better. But Tiziana, that's probably just you are very much, I know who you are and I know how much you use your body and demand of it. And so you need a good night's sleep. So there's more time to heal these injured cell membranes, because if they're injured, you're going to feel it, even though there's no overgrowth of virus or anything, and it's just going to take about a week to heal. Let's see what else. Deborah says, one more question. A family member is frequented with painful menstrual cycles and migraine headaches during menses. What is your opinion on using pycnogenol? Pycnogenol is a plant extract, very, very powerful antioxidant. So it's as an antioxidant, it becomes an anti-inflammatory. Oh, I suppose of the billions and quadrillions of molecules the good Lord has created. We've only learned less than 1% of what's out there, or even less than that in the world of knowledge. So what I'm trying to convey is pycnogenals were the rage back in the 1990s, anthocyanidins, and then resveratrol came, and then on the story goes. Someone comes up with an article, a publication on some extract is taken as an antioxidant, ECGC from green tea. And I'm not saying they're wrong. I'm just saying before we start looking them as single bullet solutions, what we have to ask is lifestyle. Are you drinking enough water all the time? Are you exercising regularly? Are you avoiding known food allergies? Because most of the grocery store, I would say 80% of what is at the grocery store are known food allergens. So most people are eating, they're sneezing, they're coughing. Most people eat their headaches. Most people eat their joint pain. Most people eat their gut pain. Most people eat their fatigue because of what they buy to eat or go to eat, and it's inflaming them. So yeah, pycnogenol is an anti-inflammatory, powerful antioxidant. It has antiviral, antibacterial, antifungal characteristics itself. Pycnogenol's have. So what do I think? I think progesterone needs to be optimized in young women who are menstruating and cycling because stress stops ovulation. Ovulation produces progesterone to balance the construction work going on of the estradiol. And if you don't have the progesterone to manage it, you'll have inflammation there from the uterus when the lining is breaking off. That's the inflammatory cycle every month a woman goes through. That can trigger a cascade of inflammatory reactions through the body, the headache, the fatigue, the moody swings, the bloating, the cramping, the pain. And then take enzymes on an empty stomach twice a day. You would know roughly when you're getting near before you expect your period any day. So that's when you want to maybe fast, do intermittent fasting, a very clean diet, and take systemic enzymes and a lot of water and exercise. And that's how I would do it. I wouldn't use pycnogenol. I would use progesterone day 15 through 25 of a girl's cycle. Day 1 is the day her period starts. All right. Catherine says, Doctor, I had oral surgery with extractions and implants. I'm on a soft diet for a few months. What can you suggest for a sustainable diet? So far, it's been soft scrambled eggs and bone broths. Thanks so much. I think your dentist should have plastic inserts that you can bite down on so that the bone in your mandible and maxilla has that 40 pounds per square inch, resistance. And otherwise, your implants are going to be in weak bone. So you have to talk with your dentist about biting down on some surface that, under his advice and care, I'm not representing that I'm a dentist, but if you don't bite hard on stuff, your bones are going to get soft here, folks. So it's important to chew and bite, just like I say, stomping and feel that shudder go up your legs and your spine for stimulating bone. You have to have that in your teeth. So that is what I would be recommending for Catherine here. As far as a diet, so I don't know how long you have to be on that kind of a diet, but you've got to get some strong biting done so your bones don't get demineralized. That's what I would recommend. Then the last page I have here is, let's see, Brenda. I have low secretory IgA for years, showing up on stool and saliva tests. Globulin and total protein is also trending low. That's on her chemistry. All of this points to immune system dysfunction. Thoughts on how to improve, as I've had inflammation in my body for years and believe it stems back to gut health. I agree. I follow your recommendations on diet, water, exercise, avoiding toxins and products. So there is a supplement called mucosagen, Mucoagen, mucosagen by Orthomolecular, that has the lactoferrin in it that is very valuable in helping you build up your immunoglobulin A. That's a special antibody that's secreted in your saliva and along the lining of the gut. It's one of your first immune defenses. So you want to have immunoglobulin A. If you're going to make protein, you have to eat protein. So it would be hard for vegan vegetarians to eat enough protein conscientiously. That's why I'm all in favor of very densely nutritious, valuable meats, fish, chicken, poultry, pork, lobster, crab, shrimp, things like that, butter, because we need the protein and the fats to make the immunoglobulins. Then we need to know your blood type to help you digest. The older you are, even if you are not a blood type A, A's typically have the low digestive enzymes, but any of us with age and illness, we might need to take digestive enzyme. As I'm almost 70, I have to take orthodigestzyme. And I've done that, I would say, at least a good 10 years. And I take 5, typically once a day, because I typically eat only 1 meal a day. The other thing is there are powders that enhance the immune system. So if you're avoiding food allergies and sticky sugars, and you're eating in a time frame, so you're not giving time to heal your gut, you could take phospholipids, those fats that make up the lining of the cell membrane, and you could take immunoglobulins that are in powdered form in addition to that mucosagen capsule of lactoferrin, and that's called SBI Protect. These are serum bovine immunoglobulins that actually help you with the fat to line your gut so it takes off the stress. And only eat in a 6-hour window. Use your digestive enzymes, use a probiotic, use a prebiotic. Just be faithful and keep on doing it. It'll take about 4 months to heal your gut. Then you should see your secretory IgA improve. Deanne says, just want to say have a blessed Christmas and New Year to you and yours, Dr. Rita. You're so appreciated and loved. Thank you, Deanne, for such kind statements. Sending you hugs from Charlotte, North Carolina. God bless you and your growing family. Yes, and it's so wonderful to hold our little grandsons from age, I think Devin is 12, going to be 13, all the way down to the newborn. All boys. Thank you, and may you also have a wonderful Christmas too and New Year. Gurais, I hope I'm saying that right. My mother has been diagnosed with kidney disease, a 19 glomerular filtration rate. That's probably an estimated rate from the chemistry panels. She was told she improved from last labs, which was 16. She will be traveling to see relatives this holiday. How much D3K2 is safe for her to take to boost her immune system? She is currently taking 800 international units with calcium daily. She was encouraged to get mRNA vaccine in 2021, but has not gotten any booster. Thank you. Well, once again, I can't tell you what to do, but I can give you general advice. People with known kidney disease benefit from taking vitamin K2 7, which is the isoform 7. So vitamin K2 7, MK7. And this is known to be associated with helping kidney function. EDTA chelation therapy is known to help the microcirculation of the glomeruli. There's a lot of nephrologists who understand this very well. It is the amount of K2 that is very important, 90 micrograms, 90 micrograms of MK2 7. So it's the 7 form, not the isoform 4 or the isoform 9. It is only the MK7 vitamin K2 that is effective in helping the kidney and its performance. So I would find a doctor who is doing EDTA chelation therapy with calcium disodium EDTA. I have all my patients, no matter what state of health they are, even those that are on dialysis, we have some, and they're all taking at least about 5,000 international units of vitamin DK3, and they are all on the at least 45 micrograms of vitamin K2 MK7. A lot of research on that. So that's what I would do. I don't think calcium supplementation is necessary for patients. Of course, if you're eating healthy meat, fish, chicken, turkey, beef, eggs, egg yolks, and stuff like that, you don't need it. And use digestive enzymes and drink plenty of water, and don't clog up your capillaries with a lot of sugar. Lee says, what is the root cause for eczema? My 18-year-old son battles with inflamed skin since birth. He doesn't eat food that is allergic to him, gluten, oats, nuts, dairy, and egg-free, low-sugar diet, and did not use steroids on skins. He did blood heavy metal test when he was 3. We removed mercury by chelation, but he's reaccumulated it. We all accumulate it every day of our lives. His eczema continues to itch him and flares up. What can he do to get better health? Jesus heals the lepers and can heal eczema too. Amen. Thank you so much for taking your time to help us all. We love you. And I love you back. You are God's creation, and it is the right thing for a healthcare provider to naturally want to share and help the population in any way they can. So, Lee, what I would say is you've got to have a doctor who knows his blood type. You've got to have food allergy testing done on cycles, because we can start to eat in patterns because of marketing, and then we can develop reactions to our new pattern of eating. You have to work to heal the lining of these blood vessels by eating the phospholipids. If he's allergic to eggs, then we can give him just phospholipids as a fat in the form of the NT powder or the BioPro PC phospholipids that help heal the lining of the gut. He has to have the stool looked at as far as how he's digesting his blood for food allergies. He has to probably take the immunoglobulin powder, SBI Protect, and the phospholipid powders and the probiotics. That's as a minimum, and find out his blood type and work with some functional doctor that can help understand that. And I pray that that would be a great help to him. Wish we could see him here, but I can't see everybody. Brenda, I'm a current patient of Dr. Merrick. I recently had a breast ultrasound and was told I have a lot of cysts. The radiologist said there's nothing I can do about it, but they are very painful. Would iodine help with the pain? Absolutely, yes, it will. Is there any hope in proving the radiologist wrong and ridding myself of the cysts? So what can I do? Well, everything I've said. Get a 24-hour urine iodine test. Use a low-carb diet. Avoid known stimulants like caffeine-based drinks. And drink plenty of water, and then take a lot of systemic enzymes like Vascuzyme or Vitalzyme morning and evening on an empty stomach to chew away the inflammation there. You probably need to have your hormones looked at and managed. And what else would I say? That would be the beginning point of it. Find out your blood type and read the book Iodine, and you'll see all the information there. Dr. Brownstein goes into a lot more mineral support for fibrocystic breast there, but I've never really needed to use all that detailed stuff. What I mention is usually enough. Penny says, all right, hi, Dr. Ellithorpe. As a follow-up to my question last week regarding timing with Vitalzyme, I'm still not clear. Please let me know the correct timing of the following. How long before and after a meal should I take the Vitalzyme? As far away from food as is possible. So I take my Vitalzyme first thing in the morning, and I don't eat until around, if I do eat anything, it'll be around 12:30 if I nibble on something. Usually it's one of my doctor's nutrition bar if I get hungry. Very often I won't eat until I get home from work, which would be 5:30. And then I wait until I have finished eating. I take my digestive enzymes, and then 3-4 hours later before bedtime, around 9:30, 10 o'clock, I will take my second dose of my Vitalzyme or Vascuzyme. Let's see. I take the Vitalzyme certain days because my schedule is different. I often wind up taking my nighttime Vitalzyme, same as the 5-HTP or 200 milligrams bioidentical oral progesterone, or sometimes with some vitamins, but that's fine. I'm concerned that the Vitalzyme is digesting those aforementioned, and it's not. So don't worry about that. I take my Vitalzyme with a pile of my vitamins. I counted them this morning. My vitamins are 27. 27 in the morning, including my 5 Vitalzyme. And here's my bag for my evening. And see, the Vitalzyme is in there. See those little ones? And I'm going to take that all at the same time, a good 4 hours or more after I've eaten, which I finished eating before this program. So hopefully that helps you. And don't worry about taking the progesterone capsule. That's fine too. And the second question is, an 83-year-old woman, I find that I have to urinate more often. Of course, I drink a lot of water as prescribed by you. But there is often an urgency and nighttime bathroom use, which disturbs my sleep. So I get up twice during the night. Besides Kegel exercise, I'm wondering, is there some herb bladder rack that may positively help this? Thank you again. It is so comforting to have you and your knowledge available to help me and the multitude of people who are your fans. Blessings. Well, I don't know if you've done this, Penny, but that Mona Lisa touch is that it's like getting a speculum put in the vaginal canal, and it has a light, which is a light that stimulates the healing of the skin and thickening to help the structure that the urethra goes through, so that when you have more muscle to shut it with your Kegels, we get thinned out with aging. So light therapy vaginally, it's called the Mona Lisa touch. Dr. Mitchell can do that for you. Call the office and see if that might be a help to you. And now that ends that. Now let's see if I can get, oops, it's already after 7. All right, so Alyssa says, my neighbor has bone spurs on his spine. Doctors want to do surgery. Do you have any alternative ways to help with those? There was a Swedish study on vitamin MK2/7. Okay, so the isoform of vitamin K2, which is MK7, and they used a very high dose. I think they actually used 45 milligrams, which would be 4,500 micrograms. So it was a high dose of vitamin K2, and they looked over a period of time. I don't recall, this was 2016, the report was done, so I'm not remembering it quite well. Nevertheless, the end results were there was a 52% reduction in calcification on the aortic leaflets in the root of the aorta. I mean, so vascular calcifying plaques were dramatically improved. That means it can help in everywhere. So don't take extra bulk calcium supplements. Eat healthy calcium in your diet, and then through your meat, your fish, your chicken, and take enzymes and be on a very low carb diet. EDTA chelation will help with that, and the MK7 with vitamin D, and that should help remodel it. Pamela says, can you spell butyrate? You spelled it right, Butyrate. That's correct. Where do you get it? You make it. You can't really buy it. Make it yourself. I know there's somebody will sell you anything out there, but I've never seen a supplemental oral butyrate that is survivable to pass through the gut. Karen says, hi, Dr. E. We really appreciate your taking this time to be with us. My husband's nostrils seem to swell during the night during the colder weather and to sleep. He wakes up unable to breathe and has to go to a recliner to sleep. Do you have any recommendations? Yeah, I would use the Argentyn Silver, which is the that spray of that water silver up his nose. I would do it morning and evening, whether or not he has symptoms. I would stop eating absolutely at 5:30, and I would take systemic enzymes, high dose on an empty stomach before bedtime, like he's a man. I would say at least 5 Vitalzyme morning and evening on an empty stomach. And then another thing he could do is take the natural clinician's preference oil. That's just like the capsule form that we have here, but this is the actual one that heals the membrane of the lining of our skin. And you could put, take the cap off, put a drop on, and then, I can moisturize my hands and it'll be absorbed right away, and it'll help the skin grow and fill in these holes here. So he could rub this around his nose and up his nose. He could put it on a Q-tip and rub it there. It'll smell like walnuts or something, but that's okay. And then squirt his nose with the Argentyn Silver. That will help him stay moist and seal the very thin lining of his mucous membranes. I would get some towels, 2 bathroom towels, and I would wet them, and then I would put them over like a laundry rack to dry them. You know how you would dry over this like little stretcher outer thing that you lay over your towel to dry it out, so that the room humidity in your room will be more humid. Of course, he has to drink enough water every day, half his weight as pounds every day, and low carb. Cynthia says, hi, Dr. Ellithorpe. Thank you for your help. What do you think about taking flaxseed oil with lignans? I love flaxseed oil, and it is a source of one of the linoleic acid components of the 2 human essential fatty acids. So I think that's very fine. And then there you go. So we want to thank you. We want to thank the Lord for the wonderful creation of the human being, and all you wonderful patients out there that are working so hard to take care of your bodies and do well. And you make doctors like me look better than we really are, because you do so well. When they do reviews, our work looks good, but you guys do all the work. Well, praise the Lord. Have a good night. God bless. And I will be here next Monday at 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. And like and subscribe, please, and share this with your friends. God bless. God bless.